Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. Will quantum computing destroy Bitcoin? The simple answer is probably not. But to get the full picture, if you stick around this video, I'll break it down for you. This fear of quantum computing, hacking Bitcoin, destroying Bitcoin really started in 2019 with the announcement of Google's quantum computer, which was much more powerful than previous quantum computers. And people feared, will this destroy the network? But to fully understand this, we have to have a basic understanding of what a quantum computer even is. So a quantum computer is, quote, it's a computer that in theory could be 1 billion times faster than today's fastest computers, that could run 10,000 years of some supercomputer calculations in a meager 200 seconds. So a quantum computer is a very powerful computer that can do a task, let's say in this example, in 200 seconds, that would take 10,000 years. And that's exactly what Google did with their quantum computer. All they did was generate random numbers, quote, like tossing a coin repeatedly, but it has no practical applications. So at this point in time, you can make the case, or you could say, that a quantum computer is very powerful, but dumb. And what I mean by that is it doesn't do complex tasks. It does very simple basic tasks, but it does that one specific task with a lot of power. So in terms of Bitcoin, the power needed would be, it would have to be at least 1,500 quantum bits. But Google's quantum computer that they used in this experiment or to generate these random numbers, it only had 53 quantum bits. And to get to 1,500 quantum bits at least, it would take many years. It's very difficult. And at this moment, it's just not possible. So what happens if we do get to a point in the future, maybe in 30 years or 50 years, where we do have these quantum computers that are powerful enough to break Bitcoin? How would that work? Well, in Bitcoin, there's a lot of encryption, right? And the whole point is quantum computers, if powerful enough, they can break encryption. In Bitcoin, there are two types of keys or addresses. There's a private key, which is only for you, no one else knows about it, and your public key, which is like your mailbox. So when someone sends you cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, they send it to your public key, but your private key belongs to you only. That's essentially the key you open to unlock your funds. So private keys are private, public keys are open to everybody. But with the power to destroy encryption, if you do have a powerful enough quantum computer, you can take a public key, which is available to everybody, and you can reverse the equation to find out the private key, which would essentially break down the Bitcoin network. Right now, it's a one-way street, one-way function. You go from private key to public key, but you can't go from public key to private key. If you did, then Bitcoin wouldn't be Bitcoin and it wouldn't really be worth anything. So that's the fear of a quantum computer having the power to break encryption. And another fear with Bitcoin is that quantum computing can mine all the Bitcoin in just 2 seconds. So right now, as of 2020, all the Bitcoin will be mined in about 120 years from now. And this is because the computers we have are set to mine these Bitcoin every 10 minutes. But if someone was able to get their hands on one of these very powerful quantum computers, they can mine all these Bitcoin that would take 120 years. They can mine it in 2 seconds because there's so much power. Again, this is if we reach a quantum computer that has that power, which I already mentioned we are very, very far away from. So this is the fear. And the thing is, if we did get to this level where we had these computers that were able to break encryption, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency would be the least of everyone's worries. You have to remember that this world pretty much runs on encryption. Everything we do every day runs on encryption. So Bitcoin wouldn't be the problem. Quote, if we get quantum computers that can do thousands of quantum bits without a correction and consistent results, we have a much bigger problem. The bigger problem we have is that the entire world's classified communications, confidential communications, financial systems, and pretty much almost anything you could think of will all be at risk because they all rely on cryptography. But how do we prepare for this? Or how do we prevent this from happening if we know that there's potential this is on the way? Well, we prepare the same way that we prepare in all technology. We use new technology, new security features, and in this case, new hashing algorithms or hashing functions. If you can see the chart in front of me, we can see that over the years, we had hash functions that, or in cryptography, in encryption, that were once thought to be secure. But over time, we found some weaknesses, and then eventually it was broken. So Bitcoin uses SHA-256, which is part of the SHA-2 family, which is still considered strong. And then there's another hashing family after SHA-256, which is considered even stronger, and that's SHA-3, the SHA-3 family. So this is how we prepare in technology. As soon as we start seeing that there are risks or there are breakdowns in the system, we can update the security, update the hashing algorithm. And what's interesting about this chart is if you could see these white empty boxes, it stands for didn't exist or wasn't even public. So in 2020, we don't even know what the safest hashing algorithms will be in 10 or 20 years. But this is how it is for iPhones or Android or computer or any software you know about. It always will continue to update because as we move into the future, there will be stronger computers and the ways, or I guess the methods of hackers will improve. And I just wanted to clarify something. We have this idea that quantum computers are evil, they're going to take over the world and break down systems, but this is far from the truth. Think about all the companies that are working on quantum computers. It's companies like Google, it's companies like IBM. They're not doing this to destroy the world, but instead they're doing this to improve the world. Quantum computing is being studied and worked on to improve the world. And one of the main focuses is increasing cybersecurity. So we are speaking in this video about the threats of quantum computing to cybersecurity, that it might break down the whole system, encryption, it won't work anymore. But the opposite can be true. If quantum computing is developed by the right people and it stays in the hands of the right people, at least in the beginning, it will be used to even improve the cybersecurity and cryptography and encryption in technology and other benefits of quantum computing. If we reach these powerful levels that I mentioned earlier in the video, are drug development, financial modeling, better batteries, cleaner fertilization, traffic optimization, weather forecasting, artificial intelligence, solar capture, and electronic materials discovery. So overall, if we do reach these powerful levels of quantum computing in the future, and it stays in the hands of the right people, at least in the beginning, it will be used for good rather than evil. But at the time of this video, Bitcoin is not being threatened by quantum computing. I hope that you found value in this video. If you like this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.